Hello again. We're going to continue on with our exploration of SAT ratio questions. And these two questions here, 28 and 80, are exemplary in the sense that they show the two basic types of questions that you're going to get on the SAT. And what I can call those is that this one is a direct ratio question, and this one is an indirect ratio. Okay? So if you master these two formats here, there's really nothing on the SAT that's going to throw you when it comes to ratio problems. So let's start with the first one here. 28. It says the ratio of boys to girls in a class is 5 to 3. And then it says there's a certain number of boys, and it asks how many girls must there be in the class. Well, again, hearkening back to the previous video, in order to solve these, what we do is we just directly set up the ratio that's given to us. Let's write this down. So it says ratio of boys to girls is 5 to 3. So I'm going to put that as this. It's for every 5 boys, there are 3 girls. Okay? And then we set that equal to the new ratio, the new bit of information, which is going to be missing one of those things, right? It's going to either be missing the amount of boys, or it's going to be missing the amount of girls, and we're going to have to solve for it. And our job is just simply to place what information that is given to us in the appropriate slot, right? The way that I wrote this, I have boys up on the top. So if we have some information relating to the boys, we should put it up here. If we have some information relating to the girls, we should put it over here. Okay, so let's see what they say. It says we've got 65 boys. So that would mean we'd match this up right here. 65 boys. Right? Because boys match with the boys. And then how many girls must there be in the class? Well, that we do not know. So I'm going to put that in red. That's going to be an X there. Unknown amount of girls. Okay? But now all that we have to do, once we have this set up, is we just cross multiply to solve this, right? So it's going to be 5 times X. So that's going to be, I'll put down here. 5 times X is equal to this times that. And let's see, I think I can do this in my head. That's 195. 3 times, check me if I'm wrong, but it should be 195. Okay, so then, simply to solve for the unknown number of girls, all we have to do now is just solve for X. And we can do that by dividing both sides by 5. And that gets us to X is equal to 195 divided by 5, which, okay, I can do this. That's 39, I believe. Check me if I'm wrong, but that should be correct. Use a calculator on that one. But, okay, so that means the number of girls, if we have 65 boys, has to be equal to 39. All right? Then, the second type of question, let me clear up the little space here. Probably don't need to, but yeah, actually, let's leave that go. The second type of question is indirect. So, let me explain what this means. Let's do this in brown. So it says in another school, it says the ratio of boys to girls is 3 to 7. So we can just write that out again. We can say, okay, that means that's 3 boys for every 7 girls. And then we're going to have to match that up with another ratio. Okay, but then here's where we have a problem. Look what it says. If there are 150 boys and girls in the school, how many boys are there? So clearly the question is asking us to figure out how many boys. But in order to do this, we need to know how many girls there were, right? So we have to put something over here, some amount of girls, so that we can do our cross multiplication thing. But they didn't tell us how many girls there were. They said there was a total of 150 boys and girls. So here's where we got a little bit of a problem, okay? The indirect / total questions. This is what we do to solve these, okay? What we would do is we would say, all right, what they gave us was a total, but they didn't tell us girls or boys, but that would mean, look at this. Let's take that original ratio for a minute. And this is definitely very much worth taking notes on. This is an important step in ratio problems. Is that we could say, if there are 3 boys for every 7 girls, then that would mean if we add those two numbers together, for out of every 10 students, randomly selected, right? 3 plus 7, there would be 3 boys. Or we could say, out of every 10 students, there would be 7 girls. Pause the video for a moment and just think about that for a second. Okay. So, whenever you have a question where it's a combination or it's some sort of total of boys and girls, instead of specifying the amounts of any individual one, all we have to do is add together the numbers of our original ratio to get a total of students, right? 3 plus 7, out of 10 students, 3 of them would be boys, 7 of them would be girls. But since we're interested in finding, what are we looking for? We're interested in finding the boys. Let's set up our ratio with boys. So here, let's rewrite this for a moment. So we can just cut that out for a second. Let's put this in green. So that means for every, there we go. So that means for every 10 students total, so I'll put T for total, 10 students total, 3 of those would be boys. So we can set that equal to another ratio that also involves a total, right? They said there's a total of 150. 150 total, and we want to know how many boys matches with that. Okay, so now we have our ratios matched. This total corresponds with that total, boys corresponds with unknown number of boys, and we can just cross multiply and solve. Okay? I'm going to just spare you the, well, let's just do it. I think you can kind of see this in your head, but I'll work this out. So 3 times 150 is going to be, what is that going to be, 450? And then 10 times unknown is going to be equal to 10 times unknown, and that gets, we can divide both sides by 10, and that gets us to the unknown amount of boys. What we're trying to figure out is equal to 45. And there we have it.